especially today, because today we launch, I think, a unique project that came out of a unique and tremendous collaboration between the city, the community, and many of our great nonprofits that help serve people who need housing and who want to remain in their housing when they have it. A little bit of context and a little bit of history here. The city, together with the University of California at Davis, the private sector, and the community, decided several years ago to launch a major economic development initiative known as Aggie Square. And it is really an exciting initiative, part of Sacramento's drive to grow a modern, inclusive economy. You know, as we have said many times, we're very proud of being the center of government and public service, but our aspiration for the city and for opportunity for everyone is to grow a more diverse economy that brings industry, technology, life science, healthcare, entertainment, so many opportunities here in our city, and Aggie Square is part of that. And the chancellor at UC Davis, Gary May, had a vision, and I was proud to partner with him in launching this initiative, where hundreds of millions of dollars is being invested in creating a center for entrepreneurship, innovation around some of these new industries, and construction is beginning. Well, the community said, and said rightfully, growth is good if it is done right. Growth is good, especially in communities that have been traditionally underinvested in, if the people who have lived here for a long time have a stake in that growth and in that success. Growth is good if we are conscious about the risks of gentrification and of pricing people out of the communities they have lived in for a long time. And so we went to work. Sacramento investment without displacement, a well-organized group of community leaders came together. AFSCME 3299, the labor union that represents a number of service workers in the area. Let's just say that there were chapters of any long story that ends well that were challenging and difficult. There were some lawsuits and there was some contention. But we sat down together and we developed a series of community benefits agreements that are a landmark and a model for how communities throughout the state and the country should do this inclusive economic development work. It requires, for example, that 20% of all new jobs at Aggie Square be held for people living within the adjoining communities. Mostly young people, but people of all ages. Most employment agreements like that are aspirational, including Gold One. This is a mandatory 20%. Significant improvements to the transportation network investments, but the hallmark of this agreement, these several agreements, is what the community, the city, the University of California at Davis is committed to around housing. Committed $50 million to a Stockton Boulevard Aggie Square Affordable Housing Trust Fund. We have already committed $43.5 million for several signature projects, including the Mercy Housing Project. They already have 200 affordable units under construction and another 500 are coming soon. But the wisdom of the community said the following: new construction is important. It's necessary. Lord knows we need even more supply, although the city is building more affordable housing than ever before. But we need to set aside dollars to make sure that people who are living in their homes, in the neighborhoods adjoining Aggie Square, can remain in their homes. And so today we launch the beginning of a $10 million investment. $10 million investment funded by the University of California, Davis per our agreement and funded by the city of Sacramento. The first $2 million to help renters stay housed. You're going to hear more detail about how all these new dollars, but think about somebody who has a need for home repair, or if the rent goes up too much, assistance to be able to bridge that gap, or emergency assistance if somebody loses a job. All of this in collaboration with our great nonprofit partners, the city, UC Davis, SIWD. We're going to be able to provide that assistance. I have so many people to thank. I want to especially thank my council colleagues, Councilmember Eric Guetta, Vice Mayor Eric Guetta, who was a key part of this, retired Councilmember Jay Chenier, and now new Councilmember Katie Maple, who couldn't be here today but is taking up the mantle and already off to a great start on this project. I want to turn it over to some of the other speakers, and we'll make sure that everybody here gets appropriately introduced. But let me turn it over to Leah Miller, the President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity. Habitat does not need much of an introduction. You know what they do. They are dream makers, and I want to thank you, Working, for participating in today's event.
Absolutely. Steinberg. As Mayor Steinberg said, my name is Leah Miller. I'm the President and CEO of Habitat for Humanity Greater Sacramento, and it's my honor to be able to be invited to speak here today, not just on behalf of Habitat, but also on behalf of the other organizations that are here today, such as the Salvation Army, Step Up, and Unseen Heroes. We would all like to express our sincere gratitude to the City of Sacramento for the opportunity to be here and celebrate this momentous occasion. This investment and the city's ongoing efforts to ensure that the Aggie Square project continues to have a positive impact on the surrounding neighborhoods as it develops is absolutely essential. I'd like to applaud the city for listening to the residents in their efforts to survey the community, and then from its results in doing so, making this first round of funding deliberately towards allocating this deliberate funding towards supporting housing anti-displacement and stabilization programs that benefit local residents. It really shows that you listen to the community, which is so important for this neighborhood and throughout our community. I'd also like to thank Tamika of Sacramento Invest Without Displacement for their steadfast advocacy to ensure that the residents of the surrounding community remains at the forefront of the Aggie Square concept. Through the funds that Habitat for Humanity Greater Sacramento will be receiving, will go towards supporting our home preservation and electrification programs. Habitat will be working with local residents here in the community on owner-occupied properties to address critical health and safety repairs, which will improve livability, accessibility, and reduce the threat of displacement. Habitat will also continue to expand its wonderful partnership with SMUD. This first $2 million investment supports Oak Park residents at all levels of the housing spectrum. It's what we really need throughout our community. To the Salvation Army Homelessness Prevention Program, it will provide residents with one-time assistance for expenses related to unexpected life occurrences, because life happens, right? Medical expenses, car repairs, rent, mortgage, utility assistance to help them avoid displacement. Through Step Up, these funds will help cover one-time costs associated with getting residents into stable housing, which all of us so greatly need. And to Unseen Heroes Culture First-Time Home Buyer Loan Program, these funds will enable Unseen Heroes to work with residents to improve their credit for homeownership. Hopefully right here in this community, providing financial assistance, literacy classes, and homebuyer education, as well as other empowerment referrals. It's an absolute honor to be doing this work here in this community among these nonprofits that I just mentioned. We're all doing real, important, and impactful work with and in partnership with residents here in Oak Park. On behalf of each of our organizations, but especially the people that we serve, because that's why we do what we do. Each of us looks forward to continuing to work in partnership with the city, with Aggie Square and Sacramento Investment Without Displacement to ensure that this community
and its residents continue to grow along with the region.
You're going to hear from a few other speakers who I'll introduce in a moment. I want to make sure I introduce the folks who aren't going to be speaking formally that are available for interviews and who have been indispensable to this effort. Kathy Cresswell, the board president of the Sacramento Housing Alliance. All of this. Ivan Garcia, the director of housing services for Step Up on Second. Sierra Edwards, the assistant director of Step Up on Second. Thank you so much. Captain Larry Carmichael, the social services officer for Sacramento City, the Salvation Army. Thank you. Here and not leaving out Danielle Foster, who is that's a standing ovation. Danielle, as you know, has not left the city. She's the new executive director of the Capital Area Development Authority, and 3 days, and we already miss her greatly because none of this could happen without you. So thank you. Let me turn it over to Dave Tamayo, who is a board member, Ward 6 for the Sacramento Municipal Utilities District. Is there a good or great initiative in Sacramento that does not involve SMUD? I don't think so. Dave? There you go.
SMUD. One of the things that's really kind of unique about SMUD is that we've stated as our very purpose that we will improve the quality of life for the Sacramento. And we've really taken that to heart. We've developed a 2030 zero carbon plan, which will address our carbon emissions. But unlike many other utilities, a key part of our plan to eliminate carbon from our emissions, which has its own benefits for the people of Sacramento, but a key part of it is that, and an integral part of it that goes throughout our whole organization, is that we're going to invest in disadvantaged communities throughout the Sacramento region so that we aren't not only not leaving people behind, but we're providing resources and information and opportunities to actually lift communities up. So that's a key part of our mission now. It goes throughout everything we do in procuring energy and developing workforce and helping people use electricity more efficiently. And we're very happy to participate in this project here. We have a grant that we're going to be implementing from the city to help electrify and provide energy efficiency. It's part of our overall strategy to continue to focus in parts of our community that need the help the most, to use energy more efficiently, to participate more effectively in a clean energy economy, whether it's through jobs or whether it's through just taking advantage of money that helps people keep money in their pocket. So that we can make investments in energy efficiency. And also we're going to help people to convert from gas to electric, which has multiple benefits for indoor air quality and by extension for people's health. We're very happy for the opportunity to work with not only the city, but many of our partners in the community, such as Habitat, such as Salvation Army, and then also working with the Sacramento Housing Alliance to help people be able to live better here in Sacramento. So thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you today. I want to
Thank you. That's
thank you.
So I want to bring up Tamika Lecluse, the Vice President of Sacramento Investment Without Displacement. That's the way it's. And I just want to make a brief comment that there's no question, no secret that there are generations of, there are reasons that go back generations why there isn't always trust between government and the community. And, you know, we can cite many of them, and we all have different jobs. And sometimes it gets messy. It's the community's job to push the government and the elected officials. It's the job of the elected officials to use their best judgment in trying to lead the city. And so this history here, I think, is really worth looking at and studying. I really do. Because we've never been adversaries. But there was a lot, as I said, including lawsuits. And this took a lot of work, a lot of mediation, a lot of bridge building, a lot of trust building. And the work is not done by any means. But I really think this is a model for how you can take creative tension and actually make great progress on behalf of community and on behalf of communities that deserve investment without displacement. Tamika, there you go.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here today. Again, my name is Tamika Lecluse, Vice President of Sacramento Investment Without Displacement. SIWD is a coalition of organizations and residents who work to ensure development impacting the people and small businesses in our communities receive direct investments from developments to prevent gentrification and displacement. Our SIWD Housing Action Team, who work with the city's housing work group, included Kathy Creswell of Sacramento Housing Alliance, as well as Peter Cohen of Sacramento Housing Alliance, Kim Williams of Building Healthy Communities, Matthew Baker of EGOS and Planning and Conservation League, Sarah Alvarado of Legal Services of Northern California, and Josie Morales of United Latinos. These programs represent an important effort by the city to prevent displacement and reflect the recommendations made by the SIWD Housing Action Team. SIWD worked with Danielle Foster and the city's housing team on the survey questions used to hear directly from community members about the housing challenges they're currently facing. These programs are responsive to what residents said they needed and are based on program strategies that have proven to keep people in their homes and in their communities. The city is committed to testing and evaluating the implementation of these programs to ensure that they meet the needs of the residents. And we, as SIWD, look forward to continuing our work with them as part of the evaluation process. We will continue to work with the city and program operators to ensure these efforts are successfully supporting residents who are at risk of displacement. Finally, we thank the city's leadership for meaningfully addressing the historic disinvestment too many of our communities have faced. We look forward to working with this adopt additional policies that will ensure that no resident is displaced from the space that they call home.
Is anything anybody out there with? No. Thank you all for coming. We'd be happy to answer any questions about the specifics, the details, the zip codes, how it's actually working. And remember, this is the first $2 million of $10 million invested towards these purposes. I know Vice Mayor couldn't be here today, but I want to thank him. I want to thank Jay Chenier, and I want to thank Katie Maple as well.
What happens in 24 and 36 months when this program is over and the money's run out? Then do those residents have to move because they can't afford to be in the new development?
Well, we hope that $10 million will go a long way. And certainly success makes it much more likely that we'll be able to get more money, whether it's from the city, whether it's from the county, whether it's from the state or even the federal government, because we believe that this is a model, a state model and a national model for how to invest in improving communities, creating more industry, creating more jobs without displacing people. So we'll take it $10 million at a time.
This is one of the largest investments in funding that's ever kind of been put towards this. How'd you get it? How'd you make it happen?
How do we make it happen? Well, I know that it was a group effort, and I know for myself that for me, I just rolled up my sleeves as the mayor / mediator, I don't know, for these lawsuits, and we turned what I guess could have been lemons into sweet lemonade, because again, how we got here is important, because nothing great happens without some struggle. And sometimes the struggle makes the end result even sweeter. And so how did we get here? Presented to try to accomplish something great. That's what we did.
Do you have a similar type of model concept in other areas of the city now?
Well, we are talking with SIWD and other members of the community about a citywide community benefits agreement ordinance, so that we at least have a framework, an approach for similar kinds of large economic development opportunities in the city. And that work's ongoing, and will be something that we will hopefully accomplish in 2023. I mean, every project and every opportunity is different. And so this is not a cut and paste effort. It's, you know, the community matters, and the input of the specific community is what matters. And so depending upon the project, we'll roll up our sleeves and make sure that the entire community benefits as we grow Sacramento. Okay.
Any more questions?
No more questions. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming.